Why do women sometimes fall for the guy who seems to barely care? It's a question that can be seriously frustrating, right? Well, let's get into it. We're going to unpack a specific theory today that claims it has the answer. So picture this. You meet a woman who's just incredible. You do everything by the book. You're attentive, you plan amazing dates, you're the perfect nice guy. But then you start to feel her pulling away, and you're just left there thinking, what on earth did I do wrong? The source material for this explainer makes a really bold claim. It says that 97% of men just don't get, or maybe they refuse to accept, a fundamental truth about how attraction actually works. And here it is, the uncomfortable truth, right there. This theory argues that for real, deep desire to kick in, a woman has to feel, on some level, that she's still working to earn your full attention. I know, it sounds totally backwards. So let's break down the logic behind it. So what's really at the heart of this? Let's kick things off with Section 1, the perfect nice guy's dilemma. And apparently its roots go way, way back into our evolutionary past. This whole theory is built on a concept called hypergamy. Now, it's not described as some conscious gold-digging choice. No, it's framed as this deep biological instinct. Think of it like an ancient survival software that's been coded into our DNA for millions of years, one that subconsciously pushes women to look for partners who demonstrate higher value. And here's the crucial part. When a man acts way too agreeable or is constantly looking for her approval or just comes off as needy, this theory says her primal brain, that ancient software, reads those signals as weakness. It flags it as low survival value. And even today, that can be enough to just flip the attraction switch to off. So, okay, that's the ancient history lesson. But how does this play out right now in the modern world? Section 2 gets into what the source calls the dating marketplace and the primal law of attraction. Now, check this out. This slide does a great job of showing the difference between what your value is on paper and what it's perceived to be. On the left, you've got the successful lawyer, but look at his actions. Always available, over-the-top praise. The message she gets is neediness. Then on the right, you have the bartender. His vibe is more casual, he's a little less available. The message she's sending is confidence, that he has options. And according to this theory, that is way more attractive. And this really brings us to the core takeaway here. It's not about your job title or how much is in your bank account. It's all about the value you project. It's about creating the feeling that you are the prize to be won. That's what supposedly generates that powerful attraction. Okay, so if perceived value is the name of the game, how do you actually create it? Well, the source argues that it all comes down to mastering the art of uncertainty. Here's the second big rule from this theory. When you just lay all your cards on the table right away, you kill all the challenge, all the mystery. But when you hold back just a little bit, when she's not 100% sure where she stands with you, her mind starts to work overtime. She starts investing her thoughts and emotions into figuring you out. And that investment, that's the seed of attraction. There's actually a really powerful psychological reason for this. It's called intermittent reinforcement. Just think about a slot machine. It's addictive because you never know when you're going to get the reward. If it paid out every single time, you'd get bored fast. Well, this theory suggests your attention and your validation work the exact same way. When they're given out unpredictably, they become way more valuable and way more addictive. Let's make this super practical. The source gives this example. Instead of that typical long text full of compliments the very next day, this approach suggests waiting a bit and then sending a simple, direct, and confident invitation. The message it sends is clear. I'm interested, but my world doesn't stop and start with your reply. It creates that crucial bit of uncertainty. So let's say you're doing this. You're projecting value, you're creating a little bit of mystery. But what happens next? According to this theory, she's going to start to subconsciously test your confidence. Let's dive into these subconscious tests in Section 4. So the source asks this really critical question. What are these tests really measuring? It argues they're not about your skills. They're about figuring out your emotional investment. Basically, her subconscious is trying to figure out one thing. Who needs this relationship more, you or me? This slide breaks down a few really common ones. Take the comparison test. The low-value response, getting jealous. The high-value response, being totally unbothered, which signals you're not threatened. Or what about the availability test? She cancels on you. The typical nice guy gets all disappointed and tries to reschedule immediately. The effective response is a calm, no problem, showing your happiness doesn't depend on her. At the end of the day, passing these tests isn't about playing some kind of game. It's about showing that you have a strong internal foundation. It sends a clear and apparently very attractive message. Your self-worth comes from you, not from her. And that leads us to the final, and honestly, the most important part of this whole idea. All these behaviors, they aren't just techniques to memorize. They are the natural side effect of having a core internal mindset. The source calls this mindset abundance. It's this deep, genuine belief that you are already whole and complete, all on your own. It's the absolutely critical difference between wanting a woman in your life to share your awesome life with versus needing a woman to feel like your life has value. And when you really truly operate from that mindset, all the right actions just naturally follow. You don't chase because you're busy building your own life. You're kind because you want to be, not because you're scared she'll leave. You lead with confidence because you have your own direction. This is pitched as the ultimate fix for the nice guy problem. Now, the source makes one last, really crucial distinction. It argues that love and attraction are two different things, and they run on totally different, sometimes even conflicting operating systems. Love is all about security, care, and commitment. But attraction, that thrives on challenge, on mystery, on the feeling that you are earning something precious. And the problem, as this theory sees it, is that most men focus only on the love side of the equation. They give all the security and commitment in the world, but they forget to keep that spark of attraction alive. And when that happens, a relationship can start to feel less like a passion and more like an obligation. And it all comes down to this really powerful shift in perspective. The idea is to stop trying so hard to win her over. Instead, you focus on building your own value, your own purpose, your own life. You become the prize. You become the kind of man she feels genuinely lucky to have in her world.